This episode is brought to you by Only the Real Entertainment and Media Den Productions. Hey man, say what's going on with y'all, man? Another episode of Real Hoops. I'm excited, preseason on, WNBA finals on. Yes, sir. All right, so my Heat played. You know how I've been cooking the Heat this all season for not getting Dame. Look solid though, Had Tyler Hero leading the team, 22 points. Triple J. Yeah. The Heat Triple J, by the way, not Memphis. 13 points. Looked very in control. Looked very mature. It's a lot different when you have all 4 years in college. You're kind of almost a seasoned veteran. We've seen 4-year players before come into the league and immediately contribute, like a Tim Duncan, like a Damian Lillard, most recently, like a JJJ. Buddy Howard is another 4-year player as well. So we've seen these 4-year players come in with, a lot more experience than a 19-year-old who's a one and done. And, just going in, doing what they need to do. You had Nikola Jovic. Word on the street is they're evaluating his knee. No injury report on that yet. And then JJJ Jaime Jaquez Jr. strained his left groin in practice today. I've either strained or pulled my groin. It's never fun. It's very hard to pivot. I just tried to play ball on Saturday on it. It wasn't fun. Wasn't mobile defensively. I was limited to being a shooter and very limited motion. I probably shouldn't even be playing. But I'm 100% would rather roll my ankle than to do anything with my groin. It's not fun. Recovering. And they played Charlotte. Charlotte, Fonnie Willis, I know they're looking at Charlotte right now like, oh, hold on, let's build up this kid. I'm kidding. Charlotte is cooked. The rest warrant is out for Miles Bridges. So the word on the street is it's related to a prior domestic violence incident. It didn't involve any new allegations of physical violence. It's related to the violation of protective order. So we're looking on that. And, I just spoke about the Charlotte Hornets a couple weeks ago. That got a lot of love. Kai Jones went on Twitter and publicly asked for a trade, and the Hornets waived him, which is crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I really hope that brother gets some help. He's uber talented, and on a very serious note, mental health is 100% a real thing, especially amongst black men. I wish somebody could sit him down or, speak to him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we come from these places and a lot of things are going on the exterior that we don't know about. We just saw Michael Beasley sit down with Ryan Clark and those guys. And, he really put context into his career with exactly the exterior things going on besides the on-the-court issues. Sometimes, the off-the-court issues affect your ability to play on the court because it takes a lot of things to be good in this league. You know what I'm saying? And everybody come from different backgrounds. Everybody come from, different traumas. So definitely, somebody need to talk to my brother in Kai Stop. Real talk. But I'm excited. You guys, I watched my first WNBA game, and I don't remember how long. I watched some game 1. I didn't really catch game 2. I was caught up doing some other stuff, handling business with, the music. So I loved it. Super skilled. Man, I forgot her name off the top of my head, but she was hitting all those difficult shots. Was it Sabine? Wow, I do not want to botch your name. I'm going to remember your name. I'm going to look it up right now. You have those crazy threes, and I'm like, yo, what am I watching? Anyways, in order to... Here we go. Johannes. Wow. Botched your name. I'm completely sorry. You can tell I'm new to this. I apologize. Maureen Johannes. She's stood out. Very difficult shots. But, the Aces ended up taking the lead and winning the game. They're one game away from, being the champions. I'm super excited for that. I really think Miss Wilson should go ahead and get that chip. I'm rooting for her most definitely. I'm super excited with, the future of the league. You got Caitlin Clark. You got the LSU ladies with Angel Reese and a few others who I think is going to take this league higher. You had the LeBron James at the game tweeting about it. Very helpful with his millions and millions of followers. I salute LeBron. He's always been an ambassador, not only for our league, but for the WNBA. And I think it's very, very important that he was there. I'm looking at the flair of the game. I'm looking at the different abilities of the ladies coming in with more information, more training, because the league is still young, right? I'm older than the league. Wow, I just aged myself. I'm older than the league. So it's very, very young and very new. So, more information, more training, more ability to have women take basketball serious, which is going to have more income coming into the league as far as marketing, and it's going to incentivize more young ladies wanting to hoop. So I'm here for it. Shout out. So we're going to get into real talk. Yeah, man, I'm excited about this one because, see, real hoops is real hoops. We like to talk hoop. But this one, I'm seeing a lot of journalists, Chad Ochocinco, Shannon Sharp, Gilbert Arenas talking about Joe Budden and Drake's debacle, kerfuffle, debate, whatever you want to use. And I wanted to jump in because with respect to all of these gentlemen, you guys know where I stand in this pod in terms of being careful of how I speak about players because I didn't play. This is completely different. I am an artist, like an actual current artist who's doing this on pretty much the daily. You know what I mean? When I couldn't catch game 2, I was handling literal music business. So let's talk about it. For all the dogs come out, if you listen to the end of last week's pod, I'm telling y'all that was what I was tapping into. So for all the dogs come out, 23 records. And Joe, being Joe, he was voted the #1 hip-hop pod in the world. People are waiting on his opinion, and everybody knows his history with Drake. And if you didn't know, Drake, in 2009 said that he was influenced by Budden, and they had their beef in 2016. They're back and forth. Joe released 4 diss records, and you had Drake on the French Montana with the Pump It Up, that record with French. And when after Joe put out those disses, Drake never really formally responded to him. So Budden basically is saying, wow, I didn't mean to play that right now. But what Joe was saying is that, bro, he's basically saying he missed it when Drake rapped like the other rappers would hit him instead of, the younger guys, the young streamers like a Kai Cenat, etc. Now, I was flat out asked, is Joe right? I think he is, but I also think Drake is right. And I'm going to contextualize the situation because you have to look at it from both places. And I'm in a unique position where I'm literally both people. I'm Drake and let me relax. I'm not Drake. I'm nowhere near Drake. I'm just a guy from Broward County. Definitely not as rich, definitely not as relevant. I'm just saying I rap. We share the same experience. So I'm Drake. I'm not saying I'm Joe Budden either because I'm not Joe Budden. He's the #1 podcast in the world. I'm just a little dude from Broward. But I pod too. So I'm both. You have to have an opinion because they're looking to you for an opinion. But to contextualize Drake first, for the people listening, for those that don't know, Drake signed a $500 million record contract that he boasts about. And if you know anything about Drake, 90 to 95% of his career that he says on these records are true. And you can actually track them down and find these things. So yeah, what does that $500 million consist of? If you go back and listen to Scorpion, his 2018 project, he goes, as soon as the album drop, I'm out of the deal. And this is the outro to the first side of it. Okay. And then he, drops the record with Dirk in 2020. And I'm looking at the credits and I don't see Universal. I see that he basically owns his publishing. Okay, that's kind of on brand. He released the Dark Lane demo tapes, which is pretty much leaks. And then he releases that with Dirk. And I'm just looking at the bottom, and I don't see Cash Money. I see he basically went to the Universal directly, or I forgot exactly who he went to directly. But let's just say he signed that deal right after Scorpion. He put out Dark Lane's demo tape, which is basically a tape. And then Certified Lover Boy drops. Way Too Sexy. I want y'all to follow me here. Telling. Before Way Too Sexy, let's go back. Tootsie Slide. Very telling. Number 1 record, nonetheless, but very telling. Certified Lover Boy. Girls Want Girls. Way Too Sexy. If you don't get where I'm going with this, you could just play it back or listen to the records. Boom. He goes Certified Lover Boy. From there, he pivots to house music. Super switch up. He goes Honestly Nevermind. That was very telling as well. That let me know that his label gave him enough leeway to do what he wants, because Drake is Drake. That's my least favorite Drake album ever, and it's sold 200K. You see what I'm saying? So he goes that. He turns around with Savage, Her Loss, which I think is a classic, modern day classic in 2022. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever you want to name it. That Drake, I love that Drake, listening to him on that record, personally. But very telling. Look at her Circle Loco. Look at her Jumbo shit popping. Look at her, what's he means with Travis. You need to listen to these things, because these things are very telling about their situation, especially somebody who is as vulnerable as Drake is. Very telling. And then he goes for All the Dogs. I can't say that I'm a little bit shocked, because 8 a.m. in Charlotte is probably the second greatest timestamp I've ever heard Drake deliver. And the only reason I'm not putting that over 9 a.m. in Dallas is because of how nostalgic it was for me. But rapping and bar for bar wise, it was phenomenal. I can see why Joe may have been misled to believe that was what he was going to get throughout the majority of the album. But the rollout from Drake was very telling as well. Pete, Slime You Out. Regardless of how we feel, this is number 1. Regardless of how we feel. True. And then he kind of premieres the record with Yeet. No disrespect to Yeet, but it's Yeet. And Sexy Red comes out and says she has a record with him. Yachty, he's been running around with Yachty for the past 2 years. They've been tight for super long. Shout out Yachty, but this ain't a little Bo. He said that in 2016. They're tight, on tour together. Yachty's them the executive producing his music these days. I'm looking at now. Where's the vets over here? SZA, Vet, Exaviz, which is crazy to even say and think. 2 records with him. She's on with the Sexy Red record. I really like that record, by the way. Travis, him and Travis been. And then you have Savage, who's on tour with it. To me, it sounds like this record was made on the road. Made like 8 a.m. in Charlotte. He was in Charlotte like a month ago before he came down to Miami. Very telling. That was also the show that J. Cole was there. First person shooter. Very telling. Drake is in a precarious situation where he has to deliver the $500 million. The tour is going to help him phenomenally in terms of recouping, if he hasn't already, because it's Drake. You have to imagine he has some type of split. Pay attention to the Apple Music deal that he signed in 2016 before he dropped Views. Pay attention to that as well. Now Drake is looking at his shows and he's seeing the demographic that is actually coming out to see him and pay his pocket. And Drake is in a peculiar situation because he has a wide palette. College kids are there, old people are there, people that are around my age, around late 20s, early 30s, around my age are there. He has a wide palette to feed. International as well, as you can see by the Bad Bunny feature. All right, I got it. These are the people that I'm seeing coming to my show. I got to make music for them. Now, Joe, anybody who follows Drake, I knew Drake when I was in middle school, 07. Comeback season Drake. Go listen to Giga. Go listen to Barry Bonds Freestyle. Go listen to Get Over It. You know, those records are the Drake that I grew up with. This is like just before just before So Far Gone. This is what really got him on, because back then it wasn't, you had to rap. But Drake was different because he was rapping like that, but he's singing on the hooks. Nobody was doing that at the time, to his level at least. And he pops. And that's the Drake that Joe fell in love with. And that's probably my favorite Drake too. 08 to 2015, I think he never missed. Never. But this is a 15-year run. Who has done 15 years before? Straight. No breaks. Even in years that Drake wasn't dropping, like 2014, and in between years like 2012, he's everywhere. Never took a break. But you can still find a way to criticize. You got to, Joe. You're Joe. That's your mans. Y'all chilled together. They was on Instagram Live like a year ago. And Drake said he was going to do the pod and whatnot. They have this weird love-hate relationship like a lot of these other industry cats do, you know, but you got to keep it honest. You could love the record, but you could also miss the old Drake. I'm in a position where I got to like both. I have to. This is Drake. This is my guy. You know, I gotta embrace like a Daylight. It sounds completely different. I have to embrace some of these records that I probably wouldn't think that Drake would make, but he's in a position where he has that wide palette to feed. Now, I do think Joe stepped a little bit out of bounds speaking about his personal life, but again, Drake only puts in his music his actual personal feelings. And vulnerability is what got him here. You know, I know that you don't want to get a billionaire talking about his heartbreak, and you shouldn't feel that way, but I mean, how can you tell him how to live his life? If he wants to do that with the 25-year-olds, so be it. If he wants to hang out with Yachty, so be it. You got to allow people to grow. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the growth that you were looking for, because had we had the Drake that we had from 08 to 2015, y'all would have turned on him the same way y'all turned on Da Baby, the same way y'all turning on Lil Baby, the same way y'all turning on Meg Thee Stallion, the same way y'all turn on all these artists who find their pocket and they stay there. Allow artists to grow. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I really would appreciate that as an artist. So tomorrow, what we got? We got West Side Gun, tapped into that. He's hard. We got Thug dropping a single, tapped into that, Free Thugger. And we got my boy Offset. Oh my God. Hardest cover art of the year goes to Offset. I'm sorry. Offset falling with the fire. I can't wait. The track he got with his wife is amazing. I love Jealousy. I love Fan. The track that he just dropped today with Don Toliver, I'm going to be tapping into that first. I'm going to keep it honest with y'all. I love both of the other artists that I just, shout out West Side Gun, shout out Thug. But the Set album, first thing I'm hitting play on at midnight. Shout out Theato. This is a longer pod. I really wanted to get to the crux of the matter. Very personal to me. I appreciate y'all for sticking around. Shout out to y'all. I'm out of here.
Like and subscribe to Real Hoops everywhere for all of our content. Click the notification bell to stay up to date with every single new release. That way you don't miss a beat when we got everything going on for you that has everything to do with hoops. Tap in and show love.